Mr. Calder lived in the small blue house next to mine. He was the kind of neighbor you barely noticed. Quiet, polite. Always outside early in the morning, checking his mailbox or watering the small row of plants along his front porch. If we crossed paths, he'd give a quick wave and a tired smile. But that was about it. I'd lived next door to him for 2 years, and in all that time we probably exchanged fewer than 20 words. Last Tuesday, an ambulance pulled into his driveway just after sunset. The flashing red lights filled the street while 2 paramedics rushed inside. I watched from my living room window, feeling that strange guilt you get when something bad happens close to home, but there's nothing you can do. About 20 minutes later, they wheeled him out on a stretcher. A white sheet covered most of him, but I could still see his gray hair sticking out near the top. The paramedics weren't rushing anymore. They moved slowly, quietly. The next morning, his house sat empty. No police tape, no family, just a dark house with the blinds closed. I figured someone would come eventually to clean it out or sell it. That's just how these things go. That night, around 2:01 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. I groaned and reached for it, half asleep. It was a notification from my doorbell camera. Motion detected. I almost ignored it, but something made me open the app anyway. The camera showed my front porch under the yellow glow of the porch light, and someone was standing there. At first I thought it was a trick of the light. The figure looked stiff, almost frozen in place. Then the camera adjusted its focus. My stomach dropped. It was Mr. Calder. He stood directly in front of my door, staring straight into the camera lens. His face looked pale under the porch light, his expression blank, almost lifeless. I sat up in bed, staring at the screen. That couldn't be right. I'd watched them take him away. I told myself the camera had to be glitching. Maybe it had saved old footage or something. Technology does weird things sometimes. But the timestamp on the video said 2:01 a.m. Right now. I waited, watching the live feed for almost a minute. Mr. Calder didn't move. He just stood there, staring. Finally, I worked up the courage to walk to the front door. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I unlocked the door slowly and pulled it open. No one was there. The porch was empty. Just the quiet street and the soft hum of a distant streetlight. I checked the camera footage again. The video clearly showed standing at my door. But the moment I opened it, the footage cut to static. I barely slept that night. The next evening, I convinced myself it had to be some kind of camera malfunction. Maybe the system had recycled an old image or something. Then 2:01 a.m. rolled around again. My phone buzzed. Motion detected. My hands felt cold as I opened the app. There he was, standing in the same exact spot. Closer to the door this time, still staring straight into the camera. His face looked different, more sunken, his skin almost gray. I didn't open the door that night. I just watched the live feed until the figure eventually stepped out of frame. The third night, it happened again. 2:01 a.m. Motion detected. This time he moved, just a little. He stepped forward until his face nearly filled the camera. And then he raised one slow hand and pressed the doorbell. The chime echoed through the house. I sat frozen on the couch, staring at the front door. The bell rang again and again. Finally, against every instinct I had, I stood up and walked toward the door. My hand hovered over the knob. I pulled the door open. The porch was empty. No footsteps, no shadows, nothing. Just the quiet street. I shut the door and checked the footage. And that's when I saw something that still keeps me awake at night. The video showed Mr. Calder ringing the bell. Then the door opened, and someone stepped outside. But it wasn't him, it was me. The camera showed me standing on the porch, smiling. A wide, unnatural smile I had never seen on my own face. Then the version of me on the video slowly turned toward Mr. Calder, and the two of them walked off the porch together, into the darkness. But the worst part? I never opened that door.